The thing is, like, when I was pursuing Yvette, I was pursuing her with like this open-handed, like, if you take my hand, like, we could go. But I wasn't like grabbing and grasping so she couldn't leave. I was okay if you left.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 105 of
How Married Are You? My name Beleaf. Oh, there he is. We're tired. Can I just say that? Mm-hmm. We just got we flew today. Mm-hmm. We landed. And now we're home. And we did kids today. We had kids. All right, here we go. My name Beleaf, this is Yvette, and we've been married 10 years. Live in California, got 4 kids. Relationships are scary and it's very necessary that we share all of our struggles and we ask how married are. Every Tuesday and Thursday, shawty. If you're listening, you're in the wedding party. Sometimes deep, sometimes it's lighthearted. I don't know what else to say, so it's time to get it started. Look, it's chocolate.
Baby story time.
Chocolate baby story time. It's
chocolate baby story time.
1, 2, 3, and
it's chocolate baby story time.
Oh my gosh, their little voices.
Yeah. You want to go? You want to tell your story you just told me? About Theo and the wedding?
Oh, that one. Okay. Yeah. Well, I have 2. Can I tell 2?
No, use the one next to the one. Right?
No, I want to tell them both.
All right, but then I'm not telling one.
Okay. I'll tell one.
I ain't got one. Go ahead.
All right, fine. I'll tell 2. So Glen and I just got back from my little brother's wedding this weekend. And tonight when I was showing, you guys are watching this on a different day. But anyways, tonight when I was showing the kids the pictures, Theo was looking at all the pictures and video. And he was like, wait a minute. Uncle Anthony was there. Grandma and Grandpa were there. Our family, the whole family was there and we weren't there. It made me so sad. But it just speaks to him. And like the fact, like even when we were leaving, when we told the kids, hey, we're going to be leaving this weekend to go do such and such. They were like, what about family night?
Yeah.
Or Theo was the one that said that, right? Wasn't Theo the one that brought it up? And I'm just like, Theo loves family. He loves us being together, and it really makes my heart smile because that's what I like too.
Yeah, he's such a. I'm gonna go ahead now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's such a good kid and such like a loving kid. He hugs deep. Mm-hmm. He's getting his hugs deeper.
Mm-hmm. He really is.
Yeah, Anaya has been on one, guys, and it's very interesting. She's been like telling us no, and like. You know, just it's been insane how like, you know, she's becoming like the one child that we have that's like she's gonna be the problem. No, I'm talking about like when we leave out of town, we leave her with someone. She's the problem. Mm-hmm. She's the one that's kind of like, yeah, there's a problem.
Yeah, we got a report when we came back. We were like, how did it go? And our friend that watched the kids was like, I don't think she was going to tell us.
She wasn't.
But Theo was like,
Something
I was like,
happened.
no. I said, did anybody get in trouble? And on Theo was like pointing. And I couldn't tell if he was pointing at their friend or Raya or Anaya. And then when I was like, what happened? I'm using names now. I was like, what happened? And then she goes, well, let Theo tell it. So then Theo told it all. And apparently Anaya had a breakdown.
Yeah. All right. Today is Tuesday. That means it's Ask How Married Are You? And that's when you guys send in your questions and we answer them to the best of our ability because we've been in this thing for 10 years trying to figure it out. So whether you're single, you're married, you have some type of dilemma that you may be in or just something that you probably need another mind on. I like to call it like a referee, you know what I mean, to kind of help you call out some things that you might not be seeing. So we're going to go ahead and hop into these emails. If you want to go ahead and send us one of these, you can go ahead and email us at howmarriedareyou@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Or you can call in to our Google Voice. I don't know this number.
760-335-6643. Again, that's 760-335-6643.
And if you want us to disguise your voice, let us know, because we will just put your voice in there if you don't tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to read an email right now. Hi, Yvette and Glen. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful family with the world. I am a late 20s Black woman, and I love seeing my people happy and thriving. I've been married for a year and a half to my husband, who I love. He's not Black, but that's another email. But I've been struggling lately. We both graduated college and didn't end up in jobs related to our majors. He shifted gears and joined the military, National Guard, to learn a new career which will lead to a better civilian job. I, on the other hand, am stuck in a job I really dislike. Every road I've taken to find a new job has led to a dead end. I work for my mom and we rent my parents' rental home. Because of this, I feel like I'm a dependent on my parents and haven't established anything of my own. I have a super independent mindset, so feeling reliant on my parents and now on my husband is killing me. During the past few years, he has made significantly more money than I have. He is very caring and family motivated and encourages me to use our joint account as my own if needed, which he mostly contributes to. I have a huge problem getting myself to do so, since I still see that as his money, even though we're married. Did either of you have issues adjusting to the money being shared? What can I do to try and let myself rely on my husband if needed? How can I change my mindset from his and mine to ours when it comes to finances?
I think I probably had those issues more.
Did you?
Well, I mean, we didn't have enough money for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna use this to buy me you know what I mean, whatever. But like food, you know what I'm saying. But it was like, I didn't feel comfortable like
buying yourself equipment for like Beleaf and Fatherhood.
Yeah, nothing like
things.
that. I was like, absolutely not. But I think, that was a real internal issue. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that there was a huge like moment that switched. I think this is just something. Well, first of all, he's your husband. You know what I'm saying? You should be relying on your husband, and he relies on you. This is like new. It's just so new for you that this is a part of like that two becoming one thing, you know? And you have to kind of like disregard the thoughts that you are not worthy or capable, or you haven't earned the right to use money, you know, especially if he's like saying like, yeah, we're good. You know what I mean? I just think that's a mindset. Now, I understand the whole thing about you and your parents. I think because you're newly married, it's just kind of like, this is struggle. Like, this is like struggle situation. And I think that's really beautiful because, you know, I've been watching some of our old clips from our beginning of our relationship and our marriage. And it was like a real struggle. Like the whole thing was like, man, we really came from a dude making $500 a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, to jobs I could not stand. And now it's just so different. And so I just think you really need to just sit and just like be here and understand that, you know, you may be in a situation, like find the purpose in the situation, you know, find the deep connection with whatever you're feeling, turning that into a passion for something else you want to do. I totally understand what you're saying though, but I don't want your financial worth to trickle into your self-worth, you know?
Yeah, that's good, babe. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've never really understood when people like get married and still have separate accounts and they're like, okay, I'm gonna pay this bill and you pay this bill, because I do feel like when you marry, you become one. so the bank account can become one. Like, I understand having separate accounts for like your allowance or whatever to kind of keep things in different pots or whatever, but I just feel like when you, I don't know, it's just one big old pot.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the benefit of being married too.
Yeah. I just feel like it's kind of one of those things where we're both contributing in our own way, and we as a household or as a family kind of decide like what our budget looks like and what we can spend money on together.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think your question is, how can I change my mindset from his and mine to ours? I think that's kind of, I think maybe it would help if you guys were to kind of sit down and say like, this is our budget and this is how we're going to allocate these funds, and like, here's an allowance for you and here's an allowance for you. We don't do allowances anymore. We used to do that.
We should
definitely do that. But yeah, I don't know how. I think that would be how. But it also, like Glenn said, it comes from a point of you not kind of, how did you say it? Like, your worth is not associated with how much.
Yeah, your financial worth isn't like, it has nothing to do with who your value as a person or like what you deserve, you know.
And I'm not going front. I struggled with that.
Later.
When I mean, because for the long, like, since we got married, I was working, right? So I had income that I was contributing to the household. And then I think it was like last year it hit me. Oh, I think it was.
It should have hit you before that.
No. It was 2018. Wow. Whatever year we had. So last year when we did taxes in 2018, and I realized, oh my goodness, I literally made like $0 for all of 2018. Because that was my first year. Because even in 2017, I had stopped working, but I still got like a little bit of money from the school district. But 2018 was like my first year where it was like, dang, girl, you just been chilling. But I knew and that's the thing. And that's what it kind of came to me, because I was like, shoot, I haven't been chilling. I've been over here putting in work. Probably putting in more work than I put in when I was going to the work.
100%, which is hard to believe because you worked so hard.
Oh my goodness.
It's just different types of work.
It is a different type of work, because I swear to you that some days I daydream about like
waking up at 4:00 in the morning,
going to the
school. It's so crazy. Like, so when you said you didn't bring in any money, I didn't even notice. Do you know that?
Because you didn't do taxes. I always do the taxes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it wasn't apparent to me. Like, I didn't hold you accountable and be like, you need to bring in some money.
Yeah, and at that point, when I started to feel a little bit self-conscious, I think like even still, I feel like there have been things that I've been like, I should just do this because at least I'll be contributing to the pot, where my little like contributions are like a little drop in the bucket compared to his like hose spraying.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like
time and energy.
It's time and energy, but it's like you doing that actually takes away from what, you know what I'm saying, we really need you to do. You know what I mean? But yeah, I never put that like you should be making money. Like it only came when like we had that argument about the diapers or the wipes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we had that argument about the wipes, and I was just kind of like, look, man.
Were we doing the podcast then?
I think so, but I mean, just a quick story.
Oh, I think we should tell the story.
So,
I mean, I guess it looks bad on me though. Maybe we shouldn't tell the story.
You're going to try to find a way to make yourself look good.
I'm just kidding.
That's what you be doing.
Go ahead.
So basically, we got funds from a company I was working with to use all their brand of diapers and wipes. And they literally gave us like a card to always like buy their stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, hey, if you need diapers or wipes, this is where we need to use this. And Yvette was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, man, we got all the diapers and wipes paid for. Cha-ching, right? So then Yvette prefers a different brand of wipes, right? And so she comes home and she brings home these other wipes. And I'm like, why do you have these? And she's like, well, I like them. And I'm like, we don't get paid to use these. We get paid to use these other ones. And she's like, well, I'm the one changing the diapers, so I get to decide what we use. And I was like, no. We're not buying money. We're not spending money on, this when we get this for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to figure out how to make this work. And she was like, no. And then I put them somewhere, and she's like, where are the wipes? And I was like, oh, I gave them to a friend of ours. Like, I gave them away. Why did you do that? Like, we got into this huge argument. And basically I was like, look, like, if you want to buy these diapers, you're going to have to go make the money to buy them. Okay. Because this is what we're getting paid to use. Now. Wait,
no. That's not how you said it. You said, if you want to use these wipes, then you're going to have to get money to buy these wipes, period. It wasn't because it was
no. I don't talk like that.
You didn't say period, but it was the end of a sentence.
Yeah, I don't talk like that. But basically, I made it known that we're not paying for these. We get paid to use this, and don't nobody get paid to use nothing, right? So Yvette just really needed to have her way in that moment and took it to the courts of the wedding party before it was a wedding party, which is just a group of friends. And they were all on Yvette's side. And I was like, that's why everybody's broke. Because why would you use, and then so basically Yvette eventually came around to it, but it took a lot of pulling.
Well, it was like we got into this really big argument, and then finally someone, I feel like it was Pat and Shan. But like, we're like, why not just use the wipes, Yvette? And I was like, fine.
Whatever. I think it was more. It had so much to do more with like your pride.
Yeah.
It
was completely a pride issue.
It was so simple. I was like, why can't you just?
And here's the crazy thing, y'all. So like, I started using Pampers 100%, right? And then months later, I didn't have wipes or something, and I was changing somebody's diaper, and I used the brand of wipes that I used to use from a friend, and I was like,
they just started falling apart.
This is disgusting.
Why did I ever like this?
I am completely sold on Pampers now.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was childish.
But I mean, I think, I definitely didn't handle it well by saying, listen, if you want to use this, you gotta
go make the money, go do the money.
Yeah, you gotta get the money because.
And it was definitely the wrong time too, because I was like, I just spent 7 years of our marriage, yada yada yada.
Yeah, but I just didn't. For me, like now that it's just like sometimes, man. Like I realize that I'm trying to convince you so much, but it's like literally. If you just step into my shoes, you will understand what I'm doing. And so now on this side, when you have done brand deals, it is really inconvenient for me to go against the brand. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're working with a certain brand and I'm like, yo, don't use Crayola, use this. I don't like Crayola. You know what I'm saying? Like you would be like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like who cares? Use the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was definitely immaturity on my part and immaturity on your part.
Yeah,
for sure. But we didn't have to make it that way. But I think those were little things that Yvette had to deal with. I don't know how you're dealing with that now. I think you're fine now.
Oh my goodness. I already know that I've put in enough work to like, yeah. Like, I feel like, I mean, you guys seem like you said you've been married for 1.5 years and you're in your late 20s. So you may or may not have children, but like by the time you add children into the mix, you just realize how much you are actually contributing. I do think that this is a newfound knowledge or a newfound ownership that I've taken, as far as like I am doing a job here at the house. Like, by being home and taking care of the kids, I am contributing to
100%
the home and what Glen is able to do.
Wow.
As a result of me being here. So I feel like, and I'm not going to front. Like, I don't, like, every 100% of the time, every day, I do not necessarily feel that way, but I am more and more coming into that knowledge and that understanding of my role and my part in this, what is happening.
I feel like too, there's a you take the lead, I'll take the lead type thing. You know what I mean? Where I feel like when I come home or when I'm home, I'm playing to your strengths. You know what I'm saying? And I think what you're learning too is like, I know what I'm doing a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's okay to trust me in some of these situations, you know? Because it's like, you're like, why? You be asking mad questions. I'll be like, just do what I'm telling you to do right now. Because when you tell me to be blowing up them balloons, I'm like, why?
It's always blowing up balloons,
Because I just think it's so stupid.
You act like I ask you to do that every week.
Do you know that?
I ask you to do that maybe 4 times a year.
Do you know that there's COVID? We can't breathe. Do you know black men are getting choked out? We can't breathe. Do you know fires are all over the world?
Up right now?
We can't breathe.
Babe.
Do you want me to use my precious air to blow balloons for decorations? Woo! All right. Next email. Next email.
With you.
Oh.
Gosh. Dang it. I lost it. That wasn't the one I was. Okay, I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Shout out to all the groomsmen who know what I'm talking about. I know the bridesmaids.
Did you see the groomsmen in the
I seen them come through. They had men be having like sentences.
Yeah.
We are here for you, dog. I be listening, yo. I love y'all, man.
All right. So this subject says, I tried several times, but subjects are hard.
Okay. Yeah.
So she couldn't nail down one subject, but here we go. Hi, guys. Before I go into this, I just want to tell y'all that you guys are the GOAT when it comes to marriage and raising a family. I don't know about that, but thank you.
Nope.
I say this because I grew up in such a toxic environment. I watched my parents' marriage fall apart. I watched my father be abusive, and then I watched as he walked away. I've always been very hesitant to see myself in a relationship because of what I saw growing up. I've always struggled with this question of submission and even with the question of what true love is. And I honestly feel like I've projected my brokenness onto the Lord. Lately, I've been trying to build my relationship with God, and it's as if the more I invite God into things and the more I try to interact with him as if he is right here with me, which he is, the more I realize that I go into relationships expecting to be hurt, expecting to be taken advantage of. I say this because I realize that I ask God for things not fully expecting him to come through. This is bad, I know. We're working on it. And I began to see that I do this especially in guy friendships and relationships. But then I see Glen treating Yvette with so much respect and so much dignity that it literally brings me to tears. And I seriously wonder if y'all are the exception and not the norm. What I'm trying to say is that I'm 20 years old now, and I find myself having more conversations about dating and marriage, and it's like some part of me wants so desperately to find love and be loved, but such a huge part of me wonders if I'm cut out for that life at all. I mean, I've learned to be on my own, and I've learned to protect myself with And I've learned to protect myself with superficial emotional walls. But how do you just let that go and entrust yourself to another human being for the rest of your life? That's a seemingly impossible commitment. I want a family, but I worry that I'm not worthy of anyone's love. I'm just not ready to give up that level of vulnerability and trust. That's like jumping off a cliff expecting there will be someone to catch you. That is incredibly terrifying. Anyways, I truly love and appreciate you guys. I really didn't think I would ever see such a fierce example of Black love. It gives me so much hope watching you all. With the kindest regards.
You got something?
I don't know if I have anything, but I do, I guess, the one thing I want to say is the reason that we do this podcast, the reason that we share our life is because we want to be the proof, not the example. And so I feel like in order, to answer your question about whether or not it's possible, I forget how you worded your question, but I just want to say that it is. We are not perfection and we are not the example, but we are proof that if you are willing to put in the work and be committed to another person, it can work out and God will bless it and honor it. And so I'm not sure how to necessarily encourage you because your family of origin experience is not my family of origin experience. And so I don't know.
It's mine though.
It is yours.
I would say that I'm sorry, were you fine?
Yeah, I'm fine. Go ahead.
I would say that, it's a lot going on here. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about trust. You're talking about you just have lack of faith. You know what I mean? In this area. And that, it's crazy, man. We really like to define ourselves by our pain, and we will describe our upbringing by things that have happened to us, but that is not who we are. You know what I'm saying? And I just think there is a refining period that you need to go through, and just knowing that you have more to give. The thing is, when I was pursuing Yvette, I was pursuing her with this open-handed, if you take my hand, we could go, but I wasn't grabbing and grasping so she couldn't leave. I was okay if you left. I didn't want you to go, but I was okay with that.
That's a really good visual.
I think that a lot of people are they don't want to be heartbroken. You know what I mean? And that's just a part of the process. That pain and that feeling and that lack of trust, and it's just a part of the process, and I just think that takes a really brave soul to allow themselves to be put out there like that. There's so much going on. I feel like there's that conversation about a lack of faith, and then I think there's a part of just being committed to a process of learning. But then I also think there's something going on where you're expecting something to happen to you, but there's also you are happening to someone else. You know what I mean? So there's in all of us, we have a certain amount of greatness to give. I tell you that all the time. We could be great. I always say that, babe. We could be amazing, and it's a certain amount of goodness that you can give someone. And I just think that if you meditate on what is at risk, you know what I mean? You're going to live there. And so I don't know if this is the correct way to go about it, and I'm still trying to figure this out through therapy. But I married Yvette with the intention to serve her. It wasn't about what I was going to get, but what I was going to give. And I knew that from the beginning, I was going to give my very best, right? And it looks different at certain times of the day. Sometimes I'll be tired, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to work through my issues, and I'm having her at least be in earshot. So I'm I know I have this issue. I don't know why, but this is what I'm thinking. I know it's not right, but how do I get through it? So that I could become a better father, husband, and proof for other people, and grandfather one day if I get to live that long. So I just think this wall that's in front of you, this glass thing that you can see through, and I'll tell you the same thing I told a man this weekend at the wedding. On the other side of fear is freedom. You have to go through that process. There is nothing that we can tell you that is going to take you down a secret tunnel to get you past it without having to go through that process.
Yeah.
And we're not the only ones. There's several other people who are examples or proof for you right now. There's Kevin, Melissa, there's Preston and Jackie, there's Ezekiel and his wife. I can never remember her name. She's such a beautiful person. But the Azanwus, there's so many other people for you to kind of like see at least. I don't know if they are as vulnerable as we are, because that's kind of like that's our hook. You know what I mean? But I just think, we're enough, you know what I mean, for you to see that like it is possible. But I went through a lot of pain. Like, I'd never wanted to, until I saw somebody be like married successfully. Like, I didn't want to be married. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to be a dad. I used to be literal trash, like a bad guy. Like, I was not this. This is all a transformation that has happened through my experience in my relationship with Jesus, right? So this is not normal. I would say that, but it is possible 100%. And that's just where that faith comes in. I'm so glad that God has really took a hold of my heart and changed a lot of things that were in me. You know what I mean? Like my desires have changed. So many things have changed about me, which has allowed me to open up and not see things through the filter of my parents or the filter of the examples I had, in the neighborhood I grew up in, And so sometimes when you need proof, you got to actually go out there and get it. You have to find more,
Yeah, and I feel like since you brought up Preston, I think he has a shirt that says "Therapy in Jesus," and it sounds like you're really pressing into your relationship with the Lord. But I also feel like it's okay to seek out, a therapist as well to kind of help you with that. Whether there's Christian or counselors out there, or whatever. But yeah, I think that could also be very helpful, because it does sound like there are some things that you need to probably help heal or move past, or be able to like grab onto some tools to be able to not think that you're going to end up like what you saw, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because like, even though like all that stuff is like possible, right? Like, that is literally what I've been experiencing in therapy, that I have is a scarcity mindset. Like, you literally think that it's not going to happen. Like, everything, like my fear is that everything is going to fall apart. We're going to lose our house. Our kids won't be able to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are going to be struggling, and I'm going to be out there selling oils and incense, DJing, cutting hair, all the things I know how to do, selling soap.
Selling verses,
doing raps for $50. That's what I was doing. Like, during that time when Yvette would come home and be like, yo, we don't have no more gas, or like we just be we didn't budget our money right, and we were out of money, and I'd have to go and do a feature sale and sell my verses for like $50 a pop. And that's why I feel like I'm gonna go back to, even after all of this stuff that we've accomplished. And I know we don't really share, like about like money and stuff like that, but we're doing okay. You know what I'm saying? But like the favor of God, like, doesn't like run out. Like, he has a plenty.
You know what? I needed to hear that.
Okay.
Because even though we are doing well, it's kind of like, okay, Lord, when is this gonna like I am that person. I'm like, okay, something's coming around the corner that's not like, I'm not expecting it, and it's just gonna like, ugh. And I try to fight, like, it's literally a battle that I fight. I'm like, okay, it's not gonna run out. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be great. Like, the Lord's favor just doesn't run out. I didn't know I need to hear that, but I need to hear that. Thank you, babe.
Yeah. Welcome.
Which is crazy because it's like I'm turning into you.
So like the remember that song The Greeting that I have,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have this line that goes, dang,
Boy,
never thought in my life I'd end up back in California. Thought it was Baltimore. Oh yeah, thought it was Baltimore until I die. I see how he had a plan for me. What did I say?
that.
See, you don't know the lyrics.
I know it.
Oh, hold on. I see how he had a plan for me, so I'm cool with whatever's around the corner. And whatever's around the corner, trust me, it's going to make me stronger. Or it's going to make the tribe around me put on all their armor. Or it's going to make the community think and food for thought and teach a brethren how to fish so he no longer sits in hunger, right? So it's like, whatever around the corner is really none of your business. Like whatever's coming around the corner,
It's none of my business.
it's none of your business.
Okay.
What's your business is what is exactly in front of you. Is that next step. And whatever's around the corner, it's either going to make you stronger or it's going to teach other people how to be stronger, right? You know what I'm saying? Or it's going to teach somebody. It's going to be good for someone. So like, why are you worried about what's around the corner? You know what I mean? So, all right, baby.
You better preach, man. That's it. That's all I was going to do today.
Really? That's a short one. Another short one, man. It's only 36 minutes.
I know. They're
They're going to be
complaining
pissed
last
at you.
time.
Woo! Ain't got another short one in there?
Okay, let's see. Let's
Yeah, the song is called The Greeting. You can stream it everywhere. It's probably like my favorite song I've written in the past few years. It's produced by Jay Ruckers and Obed and my homie Al. Go ahead, babe. Got one?
Okay. Hi, Yvette and Glen. I would like to start off with saying I have my own chocolate baby on the way, and seeing your 4 makes me even more excited for his arrival. So I'm in a long distance relationship, which isn't entirely relevant, but I'll share that anyway. We're expecting our first child. He's a wonderful, kind, and respectful man, and I love our bond with one another. My issue is, although he's all those things to others, I believe he lacks showing himself love the way he does his family and friends. There's times where I see his lack of motivation. He's self-employed, but nowhere near where he would like to be and needs to be. This lack of motivation and drive is starting to impact our relationship because I'm failing in finding ways to express to him that he needs to be his own cheerleader and not always everybody else's. He is a gentle giant, and sometimes I can be sort of mean. No way do I name, call, swear, etc., but I do feel as though at times I have belittled him and feel horrible. My question is, how do I find ways to be patient, supportive, and encourage my man without coming down too harsh? I feel now more than ever it's important he steps up to the plate because we have a child on the way, discussing marriage, and I plan to uproot from the UK over to South Africa. But that cannot happen unless we can both grow from these bad habits. Much love to you and the family.
I know that life.
You do?
Yeah, I think so. Like, you know?
No, elaborate.
Well, I think you should elaborate because he's talking about how she can be supportive. So,
Well, what life do you know?
I know the life of like being a supportive person for other people and then not being a go-getter myself.
Okay.
And then you trapping me up on them hikes. You should be a DJ and you can be doing DJs for thousands of dollars, babe.
Can y'all let us know in the comments below if these stories get old? If you get tired of hearing the same
Some of these people don't know these stories. You never get tired of hearing stories. Did you know that?
You never get tired of hearing
You never get tired of hearing people's stories. I know so many, like I know all of Eric Thomas's stories. I know that he was a high school dropout. I know he was homeless, but I never get tired of hearing him say it.
Some people's stories I get tired of. I'm not going to lie.
Whose story you get tired of?
I don't want to say anything because then it can just be the thing.
Whose story you get tired of? A famous person?
A famous person?
Yeah, we're not talking about your friends. I get tired of your friends' stories too.
I can't stand you and nobody else can either. My goodness. I don't know. There are some stories. Like sometimes no offense to my children, but sometimes they just be making stuff up.
No,
they
don't count. Theo just be talking because he got the stage. He got the mic. Yeah, and then it was Green Dragon, and the dragon said, "Roar," but I didn't see anything back because I wasn't scared. Then Raya. God, man, that dude be telling a story like, "You want to hear about my dream?"
And
he
it's
just
not
it does
dream.
not
it's
stop.
Not a dream.
I'm like, all right, man, stop, bro. We know we had dreams before. We know what they like. These don't come. It don't make no sense.
So those stories are.
And then Levi was there, and Sailor was there, and you jumped off the house.
Oh my goodness.
So,
what is she saying?
How does she encourage?
How do I find ways to be patient, supportive, and encourage my man without coming down too harsh? I think my problem isn't so much coming down too harsh, but sounding like a mother hen, like trying to tell you what to do with your life. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel that? Like, I don't know if you would necessarily find me mean or harsh. Maybe you could, because I know sometimes I can talk in a way that's very demeaning or whatever. What'd you say?
I'll be paying you no attention.
Well,
when you talk to me like that, do you think I feel it?
When I talk to you like what? I don't feel like I talk to you like that very often.
No, you used to, and I had to tell you, please, I do not like that. And you did it in front of people too. And I'd be like, look, man, I like hanging out with you, but I don't really got to be here. I would say that to her, y'all.
Oh gosh, yeah. So how? I don't know. I guess I would just say continue to show up. Continue to listen. Continue to kind of find where you fit in things and how you can support in both a spiritual and tangible way. I don't want to say spiritual, but you know what I mean when I say spiritual, like not like, yeah.
Let me do it.
Go ahead.
Okay. This man's going through a lot right now. Okay. This dude is in a long distance relationship. He's got a kid on the way, and he wants people to support him just as much as he supports them. But he doesn't know exactly what he needs. He's struggling with identity and purpose, and he knows that he's not making enough money. He feels everything. You don't have to say it to him. You don't have to say anything. He feels it. There's nothing that you are going to say to him, like tell him to do. There's nothing you're going to tell him to do that motivates him, right? You may ask him a question that motivates him, or, you know, yeah, I think asking questions, one question, like periodically, because like we already know that we are not hitting the target. We know how much money we need to make. We know we understand that, but we're having a block here. He's having a block. He doesn't know what to do. And so he needs that one, you know, that one question that kind of changes everything. But I don't think now is the time. I think what it sounds like to me is that you are basing whether or not he can figure this thing out if you want to like kind of commit to him, which I don't necessarily know if that's the right way to go about it. Either you're going to commit to him or you're not. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Either you're down or you're not. And I know that's kind of hard, but it seems like you're already committed to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're having his baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that there is a point where you're just going to have to be down, and this is where your prayers really start to go deeper than they ever gone. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to be praying for this man like it's nobody's business, because that's your man, you know? Mm-hmm. And whether or not he figures this out, you guys are going to be okay. The goal, like I knew that I didn't want to be broke, but I knew that I wanted to be with Yvette. So if we were going to be broke, I'd rather be broke with Yvette, you know what I'm saying, than rich without her. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like that was kind of like my thinking. It was like, man, because I was like, man, I don't know if I'm called to this road. I think I'm called to this road. But if she doesn't want to ride there, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Like, I don't have no more moves. I'm not going to go rapping again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go, you know, I was thinking like, man, I might get a job at Costco. I might go get my beautician license and be out here doing hair. You know what I'm saying? Not cutting hair, but doing hair. I didn't know what I was going to do. Mm. But I think this man is I think he's at the point where he knows what he needs. He knows that he needs to do something. He just doesn't know what. And so if you could help him figure out what he wants to do, then that would be valuable. But I just think that's going to take time.
Glen this weekend said, which I feel like you just set me up for failure there. You were like, answer this question.
Well, I didn't know. I wonder. I feel like it's been like I've been going hard this whole time.
I know, but you have the insight of a male perspective. You knew like all the things that he was feeling, but neither here nor there. One of the things that Glen said this weekend when he was officiating my brother's wedding was, an investment in your spouse is an investment in you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that advice right now is very relevant to this situation. Like, one of the things I feel like about Glen and I, just in the recent months that we've been experiencing, is that I had to be more like, I couldn't wait for him to tell me what to do in order to help him out in the business aspect of things. He had to, like, I had to figure it out for myself. Like, I had to just get a full picture of how things were going, or I had to get more, I don't know, I had to hear him because he had been saying it for so long, and figure out like where I could be, what obstacles I needed to move out of the way in order to show up for him. And I feel like in this situation, like, I know you're expecting your first baby or whatever, and so in that, it's a lot. But with that, if you can kind of just see or ask the questions or engage with him in a way that lets him know that you are invested in him, I feel like it would just be fruitful for the union altogether. I know you guys aren't married yet, but.
Yeah, but I also think there's like, he's going through so much, because if they're in a long distance relationship and she's pregnant, he's hurt. Like, I mean, I know I would be. I'll be like, are you okay? Who's rubbing your feet? Like, what's happening? Like, you about to have a baby. You know what I mean? And all types of like, you not feeling well, all that stuff. Like, that's playing in his head. And he probably already doesn't feel, but he might have to go through some pain. Here I go again, talking about pain. He might have to go through some failed relationships and some betrayal to know that those people may not have his best interests in mind. You know what I mean? And that way he can move forward without feeling like he's letting anyone down. There's like so much happening right now. And I think that your top priority right now isn't to fix him. It's just to have the baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, if you're going to commit to him, then commit to him, and just say, I'm going to do my part, you know what I'm saying? And making this relationship work. You know what I mean? But if there's like this asterisk next to it, that's just kind of like, if he figures out what he wants to do with his business.
Yeah. And I think too, like, just being very intentional about speaking life into him and the things that he's doing, and being a source of encouragement for him as he is encouraging others. Like, even if he doesn't see himself for who he is and his giftings, then I feel like you can always be a reminder of that for him. Like, that's a way for you to kind of show up for him if he's not showing up for himself.
And Yvette would always tell me, like, hey, man, I don't really think these people are your friends like you think they're your friends, And I would hear her, but I would be like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. But it took a long time for me to really see that. So it was like at that moment when I realized, wow, these people ain't my people. Then I was like, I ain't really got no people. And it was like, dang, like I was like very confused. And so I felt better about like just moving forward and being like, all right,
so much more freedom.
It's so much for freedom. I don't
less weight.
It's less, man. Like, I just was like, all right, well, I'm gonna just start hustling. You know what I mean? And just put everything I have to give, every single talent that I know how to do goes into the product. And that's it. And somebody hit us up. They were like, man, this is beautiful, but just know that Glen is the exception. You stuck by a man who had potential and it worked out for you, but that's not normal. And I was just like, man, I don't know anybody who is like committed to their husband and it hasn't worked out for their benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know anybody like that. You know, now I'm not saying if there's any manipulation or abuse happening there, then I'm not talking about that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, if your husband has a gift, you know what I'm saying, and you see it, like you see the gift and you give him room, because Yvette gave me room. But then I got to a point where I was like, I can't do anything else. Like, literally, like, hey man, I literally am maxed out. I can't do nothing. I've exhausted all resources. This is all I got. There's not a better camera, a better program, a better system. I just need people at this point. And I think once you saw that, you helped me go to the next level, which is, I think, where we're headed now. But in the beginning, it was like, it didn't even matter if you believed in me at that point.
Yeah.
Because I was just kind of like, this is for me. Now that I know there's nobody else that I need, that has my back, this is for me now. You know what I'm saying? This is for my children. This is for my legacy. And sometimes it takes having a kid to figure that out. Hopefully we answered your question there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good timing right there, babe. We just gave that more time.
How married are you, love?
Okay. Okay. I'm so married.
Oh, Lord.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I think so.
What am I going to say?
I don't want to say it because I don't want to give you any ideas. Go ahead.
I'm so married.
I just want to disappear right now. I already know that.
All right. So I'm so married, right? The other night. Come back, babe. They have to see your face. You know what I'm going to say? No, you don't know what I'm going to say. Okay. So look, we were at the wedding, right? And Yvette looks at me and she leans over. She goes, you're getting some tonight, right? Babe, show me your face.
I don't want to be here.
She says it in the deepest voice. The deepest voice. And then I was like, why'd you say it such a deep voice? You know what I'm saying? It was really deep. She sounded like Mr. Bonds.
How does this sound like so married? How married are you?
We still had sex. Even though you came on to me with it was very deep. I was like, oh wow. It was supposed to be funny and you got scared.
Because I thought you were going to go the other way.
I know, the other way. The other way was rough. The other way was rough.
All right, let's move on. Ask me.
Babe, how married are you?
I'm so married that the other day when we just got back from my brother's wedding, my family and I went out to breakfast, and I knew Glen had to officiate the wedding, so I was like, no, I'm like not gonna, try to get him to come with us. I'm gonna let him practice. And so I didn't make him go to breakfast, and I was like, babe, what do you want me to get you? I sent him the menu to pick out what he wanted so I can bring him back food to the hotel room, so he wouldn't be hungry.
That was very nice, babe. Good job.
And that's just how married we are.
Mm-hmm. Come on now.
Okay. And that's just how married we are.